Introduce him to your chairperson for Board of Management.
Good morning, sir. How are you? Winston, Scott.
That's a delight to meet you.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Thank you very much for coming. You're most welcome.
Boys. Good, boys. Boys, we have a wonderful visitor. Who would this be, boys?
Hi.
Captain Scott, when we were looking up some books, we found out that before Neil Armstrong, we know that he was the first man on the moon, but before Neil Armstrong was on the moon, there was a dog.
A dog, that's
and
right.
one of the boys asked, did the dog drive or control the space rocket itself? Could you tell us, Captain Scott, who controls the space rocket?
Well, different rockets are controlled different ways, obviously. Now, the dog did not go to the moon, but the dog was sent into space as a test. Okay, so the dog did not fly the spaceship. It was all done by remote control, by computers. Yes?
Was it cold there?
I'm sorry?
Was it cold in space?
Was it cold in space? It was very, very cold in space. And you know what? I got to put the spacesuit on and go outside of the space shuttle, and it was very, 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 very cold. Without that spacesuit, I would freeze. In fact, I flew on 2 different rockets, the space shuttles. I flew on my first one was called Endeavour. That was the name. And the second one was Columbia. Let's take some other questions. Let's see, who has not asked a question? Right here.
Did you see any planets?
Oh, yes, I did see other planets. I can remember looking out of the space shuttle window on one particular occasion, and I saw Mercury, and I saw Venus, and right beneath me was the Earth. I could see all 3 at the same time. That was a fantastic sight.
We've been waiting for you for the last, as you know,
Nice
for the
to
last
meet
2
you.
months.
And how old are you?
And he really was responsible for inviting you.
Oh, well, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for being so patient. I know how excited you've been all morning. You've been waiting here for 15, 20 minutes. Thank you for being patient. I'm now delighted to introduce to you Captain Winston Scott and the manager of the International Space Centre, Mr. Scott Higginbotham. I have to say, on behalf of our school, we are privileged, we are greatly honoured that people who have gone boys where others haven't gone, they have seen what others haven't seen, but they've made time to come to St. Joseph's School. That is a great honour in our school. It is a very historic place. Boys, you've come here to listen to Mr. Scott. Over to you.
Well, thank you. We're very happy to be here, excited about visiting your school this morning. Why don't we just open the floor up and take some questions? If there's anything you want to know about, not just flying in space, but the engineering end of it, designing and building rockets, the navigation, and so on, just ask us and we'll have good dialogue. The first hand I saw was this young man right here. What's your question?
How do you sleep in space?
How you sleep in space? Any way you want to sleep. What you have to do is strap yourself down someplace so that you don't float all over the spaceship while you're sleeping. Typically what we do is use sleeping bags. And what you do is the same kind of sleeping bag you take on a camping trip. And you can tie your sleeping bag someplace in the shuttle. You can tie it on the wall. You can tie it along the ceiling. You can tie it on the floor. But you tie your bag down someplace, and then you float inside of the bag, and you zip it up. And then you sleep. And what's really weird, when astronauts sleep in space, the body relaxes. You sort of bend at the waist, head goes down like this, and the arms float up in front of you. So if you see astronauts sleeping in space, they look like this. And they're not doing it deliberately. That's just what happens when you sleep. How about this young man right here? What's your question?
How does it feel going into the spaceship?
Was there...
You're nervous?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
going into the space, well, you're excited. You're getting ready to launch, so you're busy, you're concentrating on doing everything properly, getting strapped in to the spaceship. Now, what is exciting is the launch itself. It is really a dynamic ride. When the clock counts down to 0 and the rockets launch, it sort of leaps off the pad. It's not slow motion the way it looks on the movies. It kicks you in the back. It's a leap off the pad, and then you rocket off into space, and it's a very, very fast and dynamic ride.
And for those of us that don't get to fly along but help prepare it, it's still a thrill for us to get inside the spaceship every now and then and pretend we're flying.
How about, let's take somebody in the back, this young man all the way in the back.
What was your favorite thing to do in the shuttle?
My most favorite thing to do was do a spacewalk. I did an EVA. In fact, I just happened to look up, and there is one of my pictures up there outside of the space shuttle with the space suit on. That's the most fun thing to do. But it's also a lot of hard work. It's fun, but it's difficult
And
to
you
do.
spotted Terenure down there, didn't you? St. Joseph.
Absolutely. I saw St. Joseph as I went over.
What was the longest G? What was the highest G you've ever gone?
The highest,
G?
well, 3 Gs for the space shuttle. But it's 3 Gs over a 6.5 minute period of time. Now, when you fly a fighter plane like F-14, F-18, you pull 6, 7, 8, even 9 Gs, but it's only for a few seconds at a time. This is 3 Gs over about 6 to 7 minutes.
You know when you're eating food and you get all over it, you have to float around and try eating it and get rid of it like, oh.
One of the things we do in space is play with food. And sometimes we let our food float through the air, and you float up and you try and catch it in your mouth. And what's really cool is when you drink something in space, like orange juice. You can actually let your orange juice float out of its container, and it forms a ball. All liquids form balls, the globules in space. So you have this ball of orange juice floating through the air. You can take your straw and stick it in the ball of orange juice and just sort of drink it up through the straw. Oh, we have so many questions. How about right in here? What's your question?
What's it like underneath the spacesuit?
What's it like inside of the spacesuit?
Yeah.
If the sun is shining directly on you and you're working hard, you build up really strong heat inside the suit. If you're very still on the dark side of the orbit, you can get very cold inside that suit.
And one of the interesting things about the undergarments is they wear long underwear that have tubes running through them, through which water is circulated to help keep the body warm or cool as needed.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, let's take another one. Go ahead.
Okay, right down here.
Yeah.
How do you go to the bathroom?
Oh my goodness.
Ah, that question.
The old how do you go to the bathroom question. You go to the bathroom very carefully. Because stuff just floats all over the place. We have one question left. Where's your teacher? Teachers can ask a question also. Counselors? Put them on the spot. Any of the adults have a question? Adults can ask questions.
On an EVA walk, I was
Yes.
wondering, if you perforated the suit with one of the tools you use on the satellite, let's say you're putting a satellite up and you were fixing one, you perforated the suit through the first, second, and third layer of the skin. Is it retrievable, or are you in serious trouble with the vacuum?
It depends on the size of the perforation. Any perforation is a problem in space. It's an emergency, and you'd want to get inside immediately. But if it's a very, very, very small hole, the suit will attempt to maintain pressure by flowing extra oxygen from the backpack in there, and hopefully will maintain pressure enough for you to do an emergency ingress. Now, the suit is a miraculous feat of engineering. It has 7 layers of material. 2 of those layers are metallized mylar, and you've got a couple of layers of what we call stop tear.